Hi yogis, welcome to practice. This is a mixed level flow class and today we're going to explore Eka Pada Koundinyasana 2 or B or flying splits or hurdler's pose. It goes by lots of different names. You will need a couple of blocks. You don't need them right now, so have them off to the side and we're going to meet on our backs. So come on down. And once you've come onto your back, you're going to take both legs up towards the ceiling. Keep the knees bent as much as you need. And if you feel like you'd like to move around, you can bend and straighten the legs a couple of times, maybe circle out through your ankles, point and flex your feet. So you guys probably know by now, I always like to give you a little bit of time at the beginning of practice just to get any wriggles out of the way. And eventually, you'll find your way into stillness. Now, this can be a pretty challenging pose to begin with if you've got tight hamstrings. So really give yourself permission to keep your knees bent. You may find that your legs start to wobble a little bit or shake. That's totally fine. And just focus on dropping into your breath. Smooth, deep breaths in and out through your nose. And perhaps just starting to meditate on an intention that you'd like to work with throughout practice. If you don't have anything or nothing's really coming to mind, my challenge for you for this class is just to be kind to yourself. And there'll be things that we do that are going to seem challenging. There are going to be things that might be a little bit out of reach. So be kind to yourself, always taking a step back when you need. Remember, it's not so much about perfecting the final pose, but just being interested in the journey, interested in the way your body moves, your reaction to things. Let's take another 3 deep breaths here. Go ahead and bend the left knee, placing the sole of your foot on the floor. You're going to take your right hand, holding onto the outer edge of your right foot, bending that right knee as well. Now, if you can't grab a hold of the foot, you can use your hand just behind your knee. And then I want you to lengthen your right sitting bone towards the top edge of the mat, keeping the hips down. And then push your foot back into your hand as you pull the hand down into your foot. If it feels okay in your body, you can extend the left leg. But if you start to roll over to your right hip, you can use your left hand just to gently encourage your hip to ground down. And with each inhale, maybe finding a little more space, particularly within that right hip joint. And with each exhale, just relaxing into the shape, the stretch. Smooth out the muscles around your face, your jaw. I'm going to place the sole of the right foot down onto the mat and change sides, holding onto the outer edge of the left foot. Adjust if you need. And then press your foot back into your hand as you pull the hand back down into the foot. Maybe you're extending the right leg. And just noticing if this feels different from side to side. Try to pull your breath a little bit further down into the belly so it's not all up in your chest. Take a full happy baby here, so drawing the right leg back in. Of course, you can keep holding behind the backs of the legs if you need. And then if you want to straighten one leg out to the side or maybe rock from side to side, that might feel good. Alrighties, hug your knees into your chest. Give them a nice big squeeze. And then you're going to stack your knees on top of your hips, interlace your hands behind the back of your head, and press your lower back all the way down into the floor. Begin to curl your torso and your shoulders up off the mat. Keep your elbows wide. Look towards your navel for a moment and see if you can pull it back towards the spine. And then lift your gaze up towards the ceiling so there's no pressure in the neck. Just a gentle kind of wake up for the core here. Keep the shoulder blades lifted. Smooth, deep breath. Maybe you'll start to feel a little bit of heat coming into the body, maybe a little bit of shaking through the core. And slowly release all the way down. Keep your left leg bent, sole of the foot on the floor. Go ahead and extend your right leg long on the mat. Now, my suggestion would be to move your left foot just a little bit more towards the top edge of the mat. And then take your arms back behind you, interlace your thumbs. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to crunch up and you're going to tap your fingers to your right toes. So you're in a V-sit like this. Have a look at the camera if you're not sure. And then we're going to lower all the way back down. Exhale will curl you up. And inhale to slowly lower down. So find your own rhythm here. And chances are the first couple are going to be a little bit awkward while your body kind of finds its way into this drill. So keep coming back to the breath. Once you've got the movement down, try to slow down the lift and the lower. So you're using less momentum and more control. If you'd like to make this a little more challenging, you can extend your left leg long onto the mat. You'll keep it grounded down as you continue with your V-ups. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lie all the way down, reach both legs forwards, arms back, take an inhale through your nose, and an open mouth exhale. All right, setting up the other side, bending your right knee, foot on the floor, locking the thumbs back behind you, left leg extends. Take an inhale here. Exhale, curl up, sit up, tap your toes, lower back down. So find your rhythm. I find it really useful to keep pressing down through the big toe mound of the right foot. So the more you can press through that, the more you'll be able to lift yourself up. Once you've got the movement down, maybe slowing down the action, particularly the descent. So as you lower your upper body back down, try and take that a little slower. Easier said than done, I know. Maybe you're extending your right leg long on the mat as well. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and lower. Reach the legs forwards, arms back, take an inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Hug your knees into your chest. I'm going to rock and roll up and down the length of the spine or roll to one side, coming up into a tabletop position. From here, spin your fingers around to face your knees, drop your belly for cow pose and hang out here for a moment. That should feel pretty nice on the belly. Maybe you want to rock from side to side. Always love a good belly stretch after core work. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, round your upper back, pull your navel towards your spine, maybe even look back. Inhale as you arch through the back, look up. Exhale, cat pose, round. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Find a neutral spine. Spin your fingers towards the outer edges of your mat and just take some little circles around, just loading the wrists. Keep pressing down through your fingers and taking those circles back in the opposite direction. Coming back to center. Spin your fingers around to face the top edge of your mat. Spread the fingers and really press down firmly through the finger pads and the finger knuckles. Now you're going to keep the fingers connected to the mat, and all you're going to do is lift up the heel of your hand and the thumb knuckle, the base of the thumb knuckle, and then lower it back down. So these are like little hand push-ups. Really try to press down, particularly through those bottom knuckles there of the fingers. Just lifting the heel of the hands. It's one of those things that's kind of like a little more tricky than it looks and sounds. But you might even start to feel the work into your forearms here, your wrists and fingers as well. Last couple here. All right, last thing, you're going to spin the fingers back around to face your knees, but this time the palms will face up. And then start to pull your hips back towards your heels. You can tuck your toes, stretch out through the forearms, your wrists. Flip your fingers back to face the front edge of the mat. Take any little movements here that you need if you want to shake out the wrists or anything else before you make your way into downward facing dog. Once you're in your down dog, if you need to move, pedal out the feet. It always just depends kind of on what you've already been up to today. Sometimes you're able to just kind of find stillness straight away. Otherwise, you need a couple of moments. You're just dropping into a rhythm of breath that feels good in your body. Again, finding balance here, so we don't want to overwork the breath, we don't want to underwork it, just something that feels supportive. Go ahead and lift your right leg. Let's bend the knee, open up through the hip. You can even spin your torso a little bit to the right, get that little side body stretch. As you do this, keep lifting your left forearm away from the mat. And then step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Keep the back knee lifted. We're just going to shift forwards and backwards. Maybe pulse out the hips. And you know, this is very similar to the shape that we were in on our back in half happy baby, right? So maybe see how it feels. Is it different? Is it more challenging? If so, why? And then go ahead and place the left knee down. Keep the hands where they are. Straighten through your right leg and curl your toes back towards your shin. So your right foot should still be pretty wide on the mat. And then you can come up onto the fingertips if you like. Reach them further forwards. Stretch through your spine. Obviously your right hamstrings as well. And then really drive your right heel down into the mat, and at the same time, imagine you could squeeze it back towards your hips. Two more breaths. Rebend your right knee, come into a tabletop position again. So you might need to just adjust the knees a little bit. Pull the front ribs in, and then you're going to extend the right leg back behind you, point your toes even out through the hips. And then slow and steady, you're going to bend the right knee, toes towards the ceiling, feel the hamstrings work, and then re-extend the leg. Bend and straighten. 4, 3, feel the work of the muscles. 2, this time as you bend your knee for the last one, hold here, spin your inner elbow creases forwards, bend the elbows just a little bit, tiny little push up, and then lower the right knee down, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg, bend the knee, open up through the hip. Maybe you're starting to spin the torso to the left. Keep your right forearm lifting up away from the mat if you're doing that. And then big step, left foot to the outside of the left hand for lizard pose. Keep the back knee lifted, move around, pulse out the hips. This doesn't have to look like anything in particular. I just realized that my leggings are like the same color as my mat. Bad fashion choice. All right, go ahead and lower the back knee down. Keep the hands where they are. Straighten through the left leg and flex your toes back towards your shins. From here, you can come up onto the fingertips and walk the hands away from you. Keep pulling the hips back, stretching through the spine. Try and pull your left hip back, and then do that work with the hamstring. So drive the heel down and imagine you could squeeze it back at the same time. Remember, when you're stretching, you don't always have to be hitting your edge. So if this is really intense, give yourself permission to bend that left knee a little bit or to back out. Rebend the left knee. We're going to meet in tabletop position, so adjust the knees as you need. And then extend the left leg back behind you, point your toes, ribs in. Bend the left knee, feel the hamstrings work, toes towards the ceiling, and then slowly extend. Bend and straighten. 4, 3, 2. On this last one, you're going to bend the knee, spin your inner elbow creases forward, start to bend the elbows, tiny mini push-up, straighten your arms, left knee back down, downward facing dog. Inhale, glide into plank position. Lower your knees into a modified plank, so your knees are further back. They're not underneath the hips. Squeeze your butt, and again, spin your inner elbow creases forwards. Bend your elbows, and then I want you to hover just above where a chaturanga would be. Try not to drop your head. We're holding here. Keep pressing down through your finger pads, your finger knuckles. Ribs in, squeeze your butt, and just as slowly begin to straighten your arms. Good, we're gonna do that again. Bend the elbows, pull the chest forwards a little, hovering just above where your chaturanga would be. Maybe your arms are shaking now. And just as slowly, we're gonna straighten the arms. Last time, if you feel up to it, lift the knees. Bend your elbows, hover just above a chaturanga. And if you need to place the knees down, no shame, this is strong work. Breathe 3, 2, 1. Straighten the arms, downward facing dog. Whew. Inhale, glide into plank. We're gonna lower to our bellies for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders back and down, press into the feet, begin to peel your chest up, low cobra. And release back down. One more like that. Inhale, peel the chest up, Bhujangasana. Maybe hover your hands. And release. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take as many steps as you need to get your feet all the way to the top of the mat. They'll be hips width distance apart again, and fold. Yogi's choice here. You might want to just circle out the wrists a little bit, maybe tops of the hands on the floor or ragdoll position. And let your head be heavy, your neck long. And you're bending the knees as much as you need so that you're draping your torso over your legs. Release your hands, press into your feet, begin to roll yourself all the way up to you standing, and at the top, roll your shoulders back and down. And gather your hands into prayer and allow your eyes to close. Just visualizing the words of your intention, whatever kind of focus you have for your practice today. Inhale deeply. Open mouth, exhale. Release your hands and allow your eyes to open. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Reach up, big stretch, maybe even look up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold forwards, Uttanasana. Inhale as you lengthen halfway, strong belly, strong legs. Step back, plank position. So we're going to take that slow lower again. Please use the knees if you need. Bend the elbows, lower 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 to your belly. Cobra pose, peel the chest up. Try to squeeze your hands back to your hips. And release, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Spin your toes out to the right and then squeeze your outer left hip in. Now you're going to swing your right leg forwards and then bend the knee, open up through your hip. Exhale, right knee to your upper right arm, pause. Now see if you can pull the shoulders forwards a little bit more. Squeeze the knee to your upper arm. Try not to just drop your head. And then extend the leg all the way up. Exhale, knee to nose, pull it in. Step right foot to right thumb, left foot to left thumb. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Again, inhale to reach. Exhale, folds. Inhale, lengthen. Step back, plank position. Last time with these slow lowers for 5, 4, your body moving as one unit, 3, 2, and 1 to your belly. Cobra pose. Maybe it's starting to get a little bit deeper. Take it back, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Spin the toes out to the left, hug your outer right hip in, and then swing the left leg forwards. Bend the knee, open up through your hip. Knee to your upper left arm. Pause. Bring the shoulders forwards more. Keep pressing through the fingertips. Squeeze that knee to your arm. Inhale, extend the leg up and back. Knee to nose, pull it in. Step left foot to left thumb, right foot to right thumb. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Take a beat. We're going to take 3 traditional Surya A's here on the breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Maybe it's upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog, and breathe. So I always find that it's nice to come back to something traditional, maybe a little bit more simple, something that you really know already. It's nice to come back to these things when we're adding in more complicated sequences like we've already just done. So just listen to your breath here as we flow. Bend your knees, inhale, look to your hands, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Take it back, downward facing dog, breathe. Bend your knees, inhale, look to your hands, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen, and fold. Rise to stand, reach up, hands to prayer. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, chaturanga. Through your back bend. Downward facing dog, breathe. Unclench your jaw. Bend your knees, inhale, look towards the hands, step or jump, top of the mat. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand. Hands to prayer. Set up for chair pose. Feet as wide or as narrow as you like. Sit down nice and deep and then reach your arms up. Taking a couple of breaths here just to get settled into the legs. How do they feel? Is there a little bit more depth that you can explore? Take another full breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, step or float vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Spin the toes out to the right. Swing the leg forwards. Bend the knee, open up through your hip. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Wriggle the left foot back and gently lower the knee down. Now you may need to come up onto the fingertips here or have blocks underneath the hands. As you inhale, sink down, pull the chest forwards. Exhale, you're going to straighten through both legs and fold so the back knee lifts. 2 more, bend the knees, inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale, hold and breathe here. Maybe you want to curl the toes back towards your shins. Maybe you want to reach the hands forwards a little bit more. Drive your right heel down. Pull the right hip back. Rebend the right knee. We're gonna step into plank position. So drop the left knee down if you need. Otherwise, we're gonna hover the right leg, point the toes. Like we just did before, bend the right knee and then straighten. Bend, straighten. Keep extending through the crown of the head. Bend and straighten. 2 more. Now this next time we bend the knee, hold, take a little mini chaturanga. Push back up, right foot to the floor, downward facing dog. Whew, I know that's a lot. Lift the left leg. Spin the toes out. Swing the leg forwards. And then bend the knee, open up through the hip. Step your left foot to the outside of the left hand. Wriggle the right foot back and lower the knee down. Coming up onto the fingertips. We inhale, pull the chest forwards. Exhale, straighten through both legs and fold. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Hold and breathe here. Making any little adjustments that you did on the first side. Rebend the left knee, step back into plank position. Drop the right knee if you need. We're gonna hover the left leg, point the toes. Bend the knee, toes towards the ceiling, and extend. Bend, and extend. 4, 3. Try not to drop that right hip. 2. Now you're gonna bend the left knee, hold, take a little mini chaturanga. Push back up, straighten the arms, left foot down, downward facing dog. Breathe. Maybe that breath means you want to exhale through the mouth or sigh or flutter the lips just to release tension. Bend your knees, inhale, look to the hands, step or jump, top of the mat. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, sit low, reach the arms up. Press into the feet, rise to stand, Tadasana. All right, we're gonna stand into the right leg, bend and lift the left knee. A couple of options. You can either interlace the hands underneath the left leg. Some of you can just hold onto the left knee, or maybe you can grab the big toe. If you're grabbing the big toe, I want you to focus more on lengthening the spine. So if this is happening, I'd rather you be here, okay? So as you ground down through your right foot, feel that energy all the way up through the length of your body, through the crown of the head. Then we're gonna take the left leg out to the left. So if you're holding the knee, you're here. And then just like we did in downward facing dog, squeeze that outer right hip in. If you like, you can reach the right arm out. So a lot of finding balance in poses is about like the physics of the shape, right? So it can't all just be in one direction. We're taking up space. If something's moving forwards, what's balancing it by moving back at the same time? Bring your leg back through center and release, shake it out. And all of this comes into play when we start to work with more challenging poses like arm balances and inversions. So we really want to try to solidify that principle in a more simple position before bringing it into our complex poses. All right, balancing into the left leg, bend and lift the right knee. Take a moment, find your balance, there's no rush. Maybe you're grabbing a hold of the big toe. And this is where we kind of need to get the ego out of it. If you feel the spine rounding, if you're here, just grab a hold behind the knee, lengthen the spine. And then take the leg out to the right. Maybe reaching the left arm out. Squeeze the outer left hip in. Really pressing down firmly through the left foot. Lift up through the inner arch and feel that energy run up through the inseam of your left leg. All the way up the spine, through the crown of the head. Coming all the way back through center and release, shake it out. Come to stand at the top of the mat, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float, Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Spin the toes out to the right. Swing the leg forwards. Bend the knee, open up through your hip. Right knee to your right upper arm. Pause here. Lower the back knee down. Take a little mini chaturanga. Straighten the arms. Step right foot to the outside of the right hand. Lift the back knee again. Walk your hands forwards, coming up onto your fingertips. Continue to squeeze your right knee to your right upper arm. And rather than thinking of just sinking down, think of the action of reaching forwards as your left heel presses back. So again, like the physics of the pose. What are the opposite actions? Walk your hands back in. You're going to ground the back foot down. You'll probably need to slide it back a little bit, set up for warrior two. So if you need to readjust the legs or the positioning on your mat, go for it. Couple of options here. If your shoulders, if your upper body's feeling tired, which understandably it might be, just relax your arms. You can just work the legs here. Otherwise, if you'd like, add in eagle arms, right arm underneath left, or hold opposite shoulders. And then maybe closing your eyes as we just hold and breathe here. Again, just taking some kind of longer holds in a quote unquote more traditional shape. It's a nice way to just balance out all the crazy stuff we're doing. Notice the sensations in your body. Is there anywhere that you need to adjust? And that's not to say you need to go deeper. Maybe the adjustment you need to make is to back out a little or to move away from pain. That's always a good option. Re-extend your arms, straighten through your right leg, triangle pose, reach forwards, right hand down, left arm up. Take a couple of beats here just to find your way into the shape again. Keeping it nice and simple in this pose. If you do wish to add on, all you're going to do is just hover the right hand away from wherever it was resting, or you could even just get a little lighter on the fingers. Feel of this sense of expansion as you're reaching in all directions. Now take that with you into the balance. Maybe your right hand stays hovering the whole time, Ardha Chandrasana. Rather than collapsing your torso towards the floor, think of lifting it up. And then really drive the left heel back, reach through the crown of the head. Extend through your left arm. Keep those fingers reaching towards the ceiling. Standing splits, both hands to the floor. You're going to square your hips off over your right leg. So you'll need to roll that outer left hip down. Pull up through the belly. Try to keep your right heel connected to the floor, even if it means your right knee is bent. Step your left foot all the way back. Three-legged dog. Sweep the right leg up and back. Right knee to your right upper arm. So take any variation of what we've been working on here. If you want more, you're going to kick the right leg out. You're going to bend the elbows and then bend the left knee, point the toes towards the ceiling. So like we've done in tabletop and plank. We're going to meet in dog. If you like, take it back through a vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Yeah, I know that was a lot. Lift the left leg. Spin the toes out. Swing the leg forwards. Bend the knee, open up through the hip. Knee to your upper left arm. Squeeze it. Drop the back knee down. Take a little mini chaturanga. Straighten the arm, step left foot to the outside of the left hand. Lift the back knee, lizard pose. Walk your hands forwards. So notice the energy of the posture in your body. Is it all heavy? And can you bring some lightness to it? Is it all about flexibility? If that's the case, can you match it with some strength? Remembering that we always want to try to find this balance between effort and ease in our postures. Applying just the right amount of stress and force. And balancing that out with a sense of softness, control. Walk your hands back in, ground the back foot down, turn it on an angle for warrior two. Come on up. Like I said, if you're like, hey, I'm all the way on the left, maybe you want to adjust the feet a little on the mat. Maybe you're choosing to relax the arms, relax the shoulders. Otherwise, it's left arm underneath right for eagle wrap. Maybe closing your eyes, settling in. Re-extend your arms, straighten through the left leg. Inhale, reach forwards, Trikonasana, drop the left hand down, right arm up. Arrange your hips and torso. And then if you wish to add on, just getting lighter on the left fingers, maybe even hovering your hand. And taking this sense of balance with you into Ardha Chandrasana, weight into the left leg. And of course, left hand can be down, but you are just trying to lighten the load in it, even if the hand is to the mat or a block. Embrace any little wobbles, they're gonna happen, it's totally fine. Standing splits, both hands to the floor, fold over your left leg. Bending that knee any amount, and then squaring off the hips. So you're wrapping your outer right hip down. Step the right foot all the way back. Three-legged dog. Sweep your left leg up and back. Left knee to your upper left arm, taking any little variation of what we've already worked on here, or straighten the left leg. Bend your elbows, bend the right knee, point the toes up. Try not to rest on your right elbow. We're gonna meet in down dog. Maybe you take it back through a vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Glide into plank position. Come down onto your forearms, forearm plank. Get off the wrists. Same thing here, pull the chest forwards as you keep pressing back through the feet. Unclench your jaw, maybe open and close the mouth a few times. Lower your hips down, Sphinx pose. Untuck the toes. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Press down more through your left forearm. Maybe you even want to spin your gaze towards the right elbow. Chin to chest, drop the head. Left ear to left shoulder. Press down more through your right forearm. Maybe spin your gaze towards the left elbow. Just be really mindful that you're not overdoing this stretch. It can be easy to kind of like go super hard with this, but you want to keep, like, yes, you want to feel a stretch, but it's also a sensitive area of the body, so just be careful of that. Chin towards the chest. And then any amount, you're going to start to lift your chin up towards the ceiling. Feel the stretch through the front of your throat. And bring the head back to center. So you're going to come all the way down onto your belly. Take your arms out wide, palms down. So you're going to bring your right cheek towards the floor, bend the left knee, and you're going to step the left foot over the right hip. If it doesn't reach all the way, that's totally fine. And I know sometimes we hold in this stretch, but I want to keep it moving. So as soon as you've done that, you're going to come back through center and flip, changing sides. And then just do that a couple of times from side to side. And I find that this is just such a great way to release my back. Sometimes it cracks, it feels pretty good. Not that that's what I'm necessarily going for, is to crack the back, but it might just happen. You know, we've been doing a lot of work, obviously, through the shoulders, and that's gonna make the chest feel tight. Obviously working the core as well. So hopefully this is feeling good. And the next time that you roll to the left will be the last one. You'll come back through center and push back to a child's pose, hips to heels. Feet together, knees wide. You can even wrap your arms back behind you. Relax the shoulders. If you really like to push in your yoga practice, sometimes we can get frustrated towards the end of class because we can't do the peak pose, or we feel like the sequence is too challenging. So that's why I've added in this rest here. Really allow the shoulders, the upper body to be soft. I know we've been doing a lot of strength-based work there, so give yourself this permission to rest. Downward facing dog. Take an inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Lower the back knee down. Now come onto the top of the back foot and then lower down onto your forearms. From here, I want you to start to creep your right foot out to the right until you can work towards straightening that leg. Whether or not it straightens the whole way is a different thing, but we're kind of out on this diagonal in this kind of wide splits position. Now, if you want to make this more challenging, you press down through the forearms, press down through the top of the foot, and lift the left knee. As you do that, drive the right heel down. Try to squeeze the foot back towards the midline. This is probably the most, or one of the more accessible versions of Hanumanasana splits. Maybe you're like, hey, none of them are accessible to me and my body, and that's totally fine. You're just doing your best. It's still gonna stretch you out. Lower the back knee down. You're gonna slide that right foot back in. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Either stay here or thread your right shoulder underneath your right leg. Walk your hand out to the right, left hand out to the left. Stay here or maybe hover your hands. So if you're taking your hands away from the floor, this is where you don't just want the energy to be pulling down. You also want to reach your sternum, your chest, your head forwards. Release the hands down, unwind that shoulder from the leg, standing splits, weight into your right leg and fold. Left knee to your nose, press into your right foot. We're gonna come all the way up to standing. Maybe it's a little wobbly, reach the arms up. All right, from here, any amount, straighten the left leg. And then any amount, take the leg out to the left. Much more challenging this time because we're not using our hands to keep it lifted. Keep lengthening the spine. I'm sorry if you're hearing my sniffles through the mic. I'm doing my best. Bring that leg back through center. Warrior 3, sweep it back behind you. Find chaturanga arms here in your warrior 3. Press the left heel back. Reach through the head. Step the left foot all the way back. High lunge, reach your arms up. Let's add in a twist, right arm back, left arm forwards. I like to bend the back knee a little bit here. It's just kind of helping me to keep my shoulders stacked on my hips and then really working that right shoulder back. Drop the right hand down the back of the left leg. Just teeny tiny little back bend here to help open the chest. Reach the left arm up. Lift the chest towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in. Exhale, hands to the floor, three-legged dog. Right knee to your upper right arm. Any variation of these like push-ups or arm balance that we've done so far. If you want full Eka Pada Koundinyasana, extending both legs. Reach the chest forwards. Breathe. Take it back, Vinyasa, or straight to downward facing dog. Good news is we just have the left side to do. Step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Lower the back knee down, wriggle it back as far as you can, and then bring the top of the right foot to the floor. Drop down onto the forearms, and then start to inchworm. Maybe it's even just there, right? The left foot out to the left. Maybe you can extend the leg all the way, and then you're gonna press into the top of the right foot, lifting the back knee. Maybe you have to tap pretty deep into the body, into your psyche to make it through this. I know it's strong. Lower the back knee down. You're going to draw that left foot back in, coming up onto the hands, finding your lizard. And then stay here, or you're gonna drop the left arm underneath the left leg, reach your arms out wide, maybe hover your hands, pull the chest forwards, press the heel back. Unwind your arm from underneath the left leg, standing splits. Fold over your left leg. And draw your right knee to your nose. I'm going to come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms up. Get your balance. Extend the right leg any amount. And then take it out to the right. So I know this is really strong. I find it challenging too. Your leg won't go as far as when you are holding it, and that's totally fine. That's the point. You're using much more active flexibility here. Bring the leg back through center. Sweep the right leg back, warrior three. Find your little chaturanga arms here. So noticing that everything that we've been working on is building us up to that arm balance shape. And regardless of whether you take the arm balance or not, you're still getting all the prep work in. Step the right foot back, high lunge, and then twist right arm forwards, left arm back. I'm gonna add that little bend into my right knee. Releasing the left hand down the back of the right leg, reaching the right arm up, just a super gentle little back bend here, open the chest. Exhale, hands to the floor, three-legged dog, left leg lifts up and back. All right, last time, left knee to your upper left arm. Maybe taking any variation of the arm balance, anything that we've been working on. Take it back, chaturanga, through your back bend, downward facing dog. Inhale through your nose, open mouth, exhale. Lower your knees and shins to the mat. Circle out your wrists a couple of times. So I just want to address this because there are ways that you can work an arm balance with blocks underneath the shoulders to help support the weight of your body so that you can kind of work on finding the shape in your body, which is really valuable. The problem with doing that is, first of all, the blocks, most of you are going to have different size blocks. They may not work with your body proportions. And the other thing is apart from it kind of showing you what the shape is or giving you a moment to feel that flight, it's actually not really strengthening your body in the way that it needs to strengthen in order to hold the arm balance. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, you might see on Instagram, or maybe you've done it with a teacher before, in an arm balance using the blocks underneath the shoulders. So I'll give you an example. I think I'll go on the medium height here. I'll do it on the left side. Some people might teach the pose like this, so that you're kind of dropping down into the blocks, right? Now, as I said, that is useful so that you can feel what the pose is like, but the problem is the block is just taking all the work out of my shoulders. And when I'm doing that, I'm kind of falling into it rather than building that strength, which is why we did all those little half chaturangas and all that work of the chaturanga with the knee. So don't be discouraged if you didn't get to the arm balance today. You still worked really hard, you're still building strength, and the arm balance, regardless of whether you ever get it or not, who cares? That's just like whatever. The work that you've done along the way is the stuff that really counts. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs, taking one of your blocks underneath the shoulder blades. We're gonna open up the chest. If you have two blocks or maybe an extra cushion or something, you might wanna place that underneath the head. So this first block, pretty much right about where the bra line is, and you're gonna roll back. Either cactus your arms, you could hold opposite elbows. Do whatever you want with the legs. Allow the front of your body to stretch. Stay connected to your intention, whatever it is that you chose to focus on. Bring your arms back down alongside you. Bend your knees and then roll yourself up off that block. Set it off to the side and come down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Bring the soles of your feet back to the floor, knees are bent. Take that block again, place it between your inner thighs, just a gentle squeeze of the inner thighs to the block. Press down through the feet, lift your hips up for bridge pose. If you'd like, you can come up a little higher onto the shoulder blades, maybe interlace your fingers. You can also hold onto the outer edges of the mat. And such a beautiful counter pose to everything that we've worked on today. Lower your hips all the way back down. Take a breath or two here. So we're going to take a final back bend, bridge. If you have will over Dhanurasana, if you still feel like you have some upper body strength that you want to play around with, you could take wheel for sure. So when you're ready, setting yourself up, just being smart about whatever option it is that you're taking. Remember that you don't have to prove anything to me or even to yourself. When you're ready, coming all the way back down. You can set the block off to the side. Keep your knees bent and bring your feet as wide as the mat, allowing your knees to knock in towards one another. Arms out wide, palms down. Keep the feet where they are. Drop both knees to the right. Your left hip will lift. Bring the legs back through center and over to the left. And moving side to side like that. Windshield wipering the legs. If you'd like to hold on one side, that might feel good. You could always drape your ankle over the top thigh. Just use a little bit of pressure there to get deeper into the stretch. If you're holding on one side, change. Coming back through center, so knees together, feet wide. Rest one hand on your belly, one on your heart. Inhale deeply and hold at the top of your inhale. Sip in a little more air. Exhale through your nose, slow and controlled. Hold at the base of your exhale. Inhale deeply. Hold at the top of your inhale. Exhale through the nose. Hold at the base of your exhale. Again, inhale. Hold at the top of your inhale. Exhale through the nose. Hold at the base of your exhale. Take one more round. Shavasana. Making your way to any comfortable position so that you can rest. Try to give yourself 3 to 5 minutes just to enjoy the benefits of the practice, to be still and enjoy. Thank you guys so much for joining in. I'll see you next time. Namaste.